Dr. Akbar Zaidi, Justice Maqbool Bakar, Board of Governors, staff, faculty, and parents, Adabars, dear graduates, you are entering the world at a time when things are more unpredictable than ever before, more deranged, more unbalanced, a time when a combination of forces is posing a serious danger. Our lives are at stake, our future is at stake. If you want to lead an individually fulfilling, socially responsible life, expanding what it means to be free, to be alive, then you have no time to lose. You can and must do better. The good news is that the future is not predetermined. It is open. It is your duty to fight for a fabulously better one. You are poised for an intelligence takeoff that will expand our capabilities to spectacular heights. You can do it. You can do it because of the singular power of human imagination and comprehension that you possess. Emily Dickinson said it best. Your brain is wider than the sky, for put them side by side, the one the other will contain with ease and you beside. The brain is deeper than the sea, for hold them blue to blue, the one the other will absorb, as sponges buckets do. Just as the brain is wider than the sky because the breadth of human imagination, so it is deeper than the sea because it can carry thoughts of all the oceans, much like a sponge can soak up the water in a whole bucket. With this unlimited, infinite power, you can and must overcome the challenges facing you and construct a dazzlingly bright future. You have no time to lose. A historic incident that has stayed with me involves our founder, Mr. Jinnah. He spoke to a crowd of approximately 10,000 at a public gathering in Agra some years before the partition. Probably 500 people in the audience actually understood English, and about 50 of them understood it well. Trained as a barrister at Lincoln's Inn in London, Mr. Jinnah spoke in chaste English with a British accent for 40 minutes. And only in the last few minutes did he address the commoners through a broken hybrid version of Urdu and English. But shockingly enough, the crowd sat mesmerized throughout, despite a complete lack of understanding. When asked afterwards about what captivated them to such a degree, one man's answer was, "Look, it's true that I did not understand a word of what Mr. Jinnah said in English, but I have full confidence and full trust that whatever he said was for my good." Was the man's blind trust justified? Yes. Because a deeply meaningful blind trust is justified as long as the trustworthiness of the individual is established. The man had witnessed how steadfast and consistent Mr. Jinnah had been in protecting the rights of the Muslim. You need to follow the standards set down by our Qaid-e-Azam. Your actions, competence, reliability, integrity, and demonstration of benevolence and empathy must be such that your colleagues and peers have the same blind trust in you. You have to be consistent until your last breath. You must not give up. Never give up your ideals, never give up your dreams, no matter what the naysayers proclaim from the rooftops. You do it no matter what the sacrifice is. Do it with every last drop of blood, sweat and tears. Do it the way Faiz Saab instructs you to do it. Hum parvarishe loho qalam karte rahenge, jo dil pe guzarti hai raqam karte rahenge. हाँ, तलखिए अय्याम अभी और बढ़ेगी. हाँ, अहले सितम मश्क़ सितम करते रहेंगे. मंजूर ये तलखी, ये सितम हमको गवारा. दम है तो मदावाए सितम करते रहेंगे. और मैखाना सलामत है तो हम सुर्खिए मैं से तज़ीने दरो बामे हरम करते रहेंगे. और बाकी है लहू दिल में तो हर अश्क से पैदा रंगे लबो रुखसारे सनम करते रहेंगे. और एक तर्ज़े तगाफुल है सो वो उनको मुबारक, एक अर्ज़े तमन्ना है सो हम करते रहेंगे. There are multiple challenges ahead of you. Find the solutions. Let us begin with climate change. A Chinese-American, Zhu Linruan, accomplished an extraordinary feat of pigmentary engineering by developing a maximally reflective white paint that bounces 98% of the sun's rays off any given surface and then back out into deep space, cooling the planet in the process. We need to cover just 2% of the Earth's surface with this paint on rooftops, vehicles, clothing, and we can cool down our planet dramatically. Is this the only solution? No, but it is one of them. How about the issue of plastic waste? One of the deadliest problems of our time. You know, the Spanish biologist, Dr. Federica Bertuccini, was cleaning out her beehives one day when she noticed there were little worms eating the beeswax. She collected the worms in a plastic bag to throw them out, but as she was getting rid of them, she was shocked to see that those beastly little things had punched holes in the bag and were happily chewing away on plastic. It turns out that this wax worm thrives by feasting on the longest lasting plastic. Well, could this be a solution for plastic waste? Yeah, we could let loose millions of worms on plastic dump sites. But no, Federica went further. She found that the worm's saliva contains enzymes that oxidize and destroy polymers, chemically dissolving plastic at an unprecedented rate. Now this enzyme is being synthesized in labs, so you can use a cheap home kit to recycle the harmful polyethylenes into much needed fertilizer for the plants in the comfort of your own kitchen, all thanks to a lowly worm. Is this the only solution? No, but it is one of them. How was this potential game-changing answer found? Mir Taqi Mir has a gorgeous sher that tells you how. Sarsari tum jahan se guzre. Sarsari tum jahan se guzre, varna har ja jahan digar tha. Mir is reminding us that instead of passing through the world in a sarsari, superficial way, if only you paid attention, you would discover a whole new universe in every spot where you look. Solutions are staring us in the face, but we are too busy to look. One woman looked, she paid attention to a tiny little worm eating plastic and asked why. She asked how, and came up with a paradigm-shifting answer for one of humanity's nastiest problems. You can too, and you must, because you have no time to waste. How can we make our Earth safe from the kind of meteorite that killed dinosaurs 66 million years ago? The double asteroid redirection test, or DART, controlled from a small Maryland town between Washington and Baltimore, launched a spacecraft in November 2022 that raced around the sun for 10 months as it pursued its target, an asteroid 7 million miles from Earth. By hitting it with a high-speed projectile, the dangerous asteroid's course was changed ever so slightly, but enough to miss the Earth, demonstrating that for the first time, humanity has the ability to alter the orbit of celestial bodies. The brain is wider than the sky. The brain is deeper than the sea. सितारों से आगे जहां और भी हैं, अभी इश्क के इम्तिहान और भी हैं. कनात न कर आलमे रंगो बू पर, चमन और भी, आशियां और भी हैं. अगर खो गया एक नशेमन तो क्या गम, अगर खो गया एक नशेमन तो क्या गम, अरे मकामाते आहो फुगां और भी हैं. तू शाही है, परवाज है काम तेरा, तेरे सामने आसमां और भी हैं. इसी रोज़ो शब में उलझ कर न रह जा, कि तेरे ज़मानो मकां और भी हैं. Let me end by talking about something very close to my heart: advances in medicine. In the first 50 years of the last century, we doubled human lifespan by discovering antibiotics and then preventing common infectious diseases like smallpox, typhoid, cholera, and more recently, COVID, by developing vaccines. In other words, prevention was the answer. In the next 50 years, we reduced deaths from heart disease by 70%. Once again, not only by doing open heart surgery, but by preventing coronary artery disease with cholesterol-lowering drugs. Again, prevention was the answer. And now, within the first 50 years of this century, we will get rid of the remaining chronic diseases like diabetes, dementia, Alzheimer's, and yes, cancer. We will get rid of these by prevention. In fact, by mid-century, the only disease left will be the one you need to cure: aging. Hurry up and cure aging, because this time I have no time to lose. I've personally been obsessed with finding a cure for cancer. Since the 1980s, I pursued two fundamental themes. First, that the best way to deal with cancer is to find it before it finds us. Stage 1 is already too late, as there are hundreds of millions of cancer cells even in a tiny tumor, requiring treatment with surgery, chemotherapy, radiation therapy, or what I call the slash, poison, burn approach. No, we need to find cancer at its inception, at the first cell stage, and nip it in the bud. Prevention will be the answer for cancer as well. Scientists across the globe began to look and are finding the earliest footprints of cancer in the body. Results of methylation platforms, genomics, transcriptomics, proteomics, metabolomics, as well as filters to trap the first cell, are setting the world of oncology on fire. We can find the footprints of cancer, sometimes years before its clinical appearance. Again, I feel vindicated. What is really electrifying me are the recent developments in my own lab, where incredibly well-trained scientists and immunologists are working on highly sophisticated tri-specific antibodies that fan out two arms to snatch the first cell and the third arm to grab and bring a circulating nearby immune cell to eliminate the culprit first cell swiftly and precisely. Speaking of technology, we have not had time to talk about AI. All I want to say is that ChatGPT did not write this talk. As you graduate from this magnificent institution today, indeed, you face some difficult challenges, but be grateful that you are arriving on the stage armed with one of the finest educations and with previously unimaginable technological advances bursting forth around you. Take advantage of both. Do not accept answers that cannot be questioned. Ask questions that cannot be answered. Do not remain reactive anymore. Become proactive. If you are reactive, you are repairing. If you are proactive, you are preparing. Being proactive means dictating your circumstances instead of letting circumstances dictate you. Being proactive means you will not wait for bad things to happen to you. Being proactive means being self-initiated, future-focused, emotionally stable, and change-oriented. Above all, being active and proactive requires action. You have to act. Act, 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 act now. I'm going to dedicate the last bit that I will recite now to Dr. Akbar Zaidi because he asked me for it. कुछ लोग तुम्हें समझाएंगे, वो तुमको खौफ दिलाएंगे, जो है वो भी खो सकता है. इस राह में रहजन हैं इतने, कुछ और यहाँ हो सकता है. Rahzan, highway robbers. How beautiful are these lines by Fahmida Riaz. कुछ लोग तुम्हें समझाएंगे, वो तुमको खौफ दिलाएंगे, जो है वो भी खो सकता है. इस राह में रहजन हैं इतने, कुछ और यहाँ हो सकता है. अरे कुछ और तो अक्सर होता है, पर तुम जिस लम्हे में जिंदा हो, ये लम्हा तुमसे जिंदा है. ये वक्त नहीं फिर आएगा, तुम अपनी करनी कर गुजरो, जो होगा देखा जाएगा. Thank you.